Hello there, welcome to the channel. This is my first ever YouTube video and first time ever being on camera, so I'm a little bit nervous. I'm Chris, I'm from the UK and I like to build in The Sims 4. I thought a better way to introduce my channel than to start a fresh build series called My Dream Home. And this will likely be split into a few parts, depending on how far I get today. Before we begin, I just wanted to share where you can find me. So if you like, you can drop me a follow over on Blue Sky under Curiopher Sims. And going forward, I'll post all of my builds on the Sims gallery under Curiopher Sims as well. So now that's all done, let's jump into game. I've decided to build in the world of New Crest because I really love the 30 by 20 lots that they have in this world, and it's just the right size for what I had in mind, which was a mid-century modern home. I'll bring up some reference images to the side. You'll see there's a lot of wood that's mixed with concrete and lots of floor-to-ceiling windows. I really want to mix the idea of mid-century with more modern furniture. It's one of my favorite architectural styles. So if we get some better light firstly and turn the grid on. If you see me look over to this side, it's because I am working from kind of a similar floor plan to what I want to achieve. So let's start firstly with the front entrance. I'm thinking of doing a double door and then extending out a kind of like front porch area, a few tiles, maybe by 2. And then we'll just concentrate firstly on the front facade and not take things too quickly. I'd actually quite like to have a bedroom down here and then have this as kind of a side garden. So it's going to be very private. What I had in mind was maybe a half wall that runs across the front and all around the border. Maybe let's get a double staircase without a backs, because I kind of had this idea in mind of having floor-to-ceiling windows all the way across this walkway. So let's just pull it around there, maybe one more. And let's think about a bedroom. It's probably a good bedroom size. Oh, before I forget, I will do my quarter tile placement. So I'd quite like to have a corridor that offshoots from the main hallway and a bathroom that's separate from the main bedroom. And then I'm thinking if we wrap this around, that should give us enough room for a reading nook, but I actually kind of wanted less room here, so we could potentially put some bookshelves. So maybe I will open this out or move this inwards. No, didn't like that. It's all about trial and error when you're building. So I've decided to have 2 bathrooms in the end, one that will cater to the bedroom on the ground floor, and then one that's kind of more of a living space for guests, etc. So on the first floor, I'm thinking of just mirroring the same. It's looking like a bit of a box at the moment. So some of the reference pictures I've found have an overhang on either side, to just add a bit of architectural detail, and I really like that idea. And creating maybe like a front porch, make it even more private. So I think I might mirror this on the back as well, but for now, let's just focus on the frontage. That actually took a lot longer than I thought. While I was choosing some columns, I would make a few tweaks and pick out some wallpapers, doors, and windows. And I've changed the height of the first floor just so I could have maybe more of a huge window moment as we're going around the back. I've chosen kind of a medley of wallpapers. I was thinking of mixing CC and the Sims 4 catalog for this build. So I've gone for Harry's Clean Brick. I've gone for this, I believe it's from PRE Sims' new kit pack, the Refined Living Room pack. I've gone for MCM's Concrete Wallpaper, and I've done a mixture of windows from Parenthood and I believe it's Eco Lifestyle. There's some really good windows in both of those packs, and I'll obviously add some more as we go along the way, but I kind of love the simplicity. Even though this one's quite chunky, I think for maybe statement window it might work. And then the front door, I was searching through my entire catalogue, but I've actually come across the one from Eco Lifestyle, and I think it really works with kind of mid-century home. I was looking at more of a reddish tone, but I don't like how stark that white is. None of the other swatches really work. I would have loved maybe a richer wood colour to match this paneling, but fortunately not. I've chosen some tiles from Harry. These are actually bathroom tiles, but I thought they really work for an outdoor kind of patio area. So maybe let's add some flooring down just to ground the build a little bit. I'm thinking of maybe adding an entrance here and then having a half wall, a tall half wall that runs the perimeter. So Let's just add the door in. I'm thinking of adding concrete on the bottom floor and brick on the top, and then accents of this wood paneling. Maybe we could do a bump out here actually. Yeah, I quite like that. It adds a little bit of detail. I think it's always really tricky when you're building a box, especially when you don't add wallpaper onto it, because it kind of looks very blank and tricky to imagine what you want to envisage. So for me, I kind of like adding the wallpapers first and then I can build from there. So let's think about the balance of this now. So as I said before, I chose windows from Eco Lifestyle and Bring Together. I would have looked at this, but because of the platform, we can't do that, unfortunately. So maybe I'll have to go for a shorter window. I've seen a lot of interesting horizontal windows that work in these kind of alcoves, but I don't think the game has anything that suits the style that I'm going for. Maybe let's do a double frontage here in black, look a bit too harsh. Grey or brown? Let's do the grey. Oh, and I nearly forgot, let's add a roof. This will just be a flat roof, nothing fancy. I might bring it up one, just to add a little bit of interest. One thing I wish we had was platform trims that match wallpapers. Now, this isn't going to work here at least because it's a CC wallpaper, but I always find it really tricky in the game to match things. Let's see if we can find one that actually is kind of a close match. The colours just slightly off. Yeah, I think that will do. And I'll paint this one here as well. And then I did want to carry on this wood paneling here actually for point of difference. So as you'll see with my build style, I kind of build from afar and then go in with detail just so I can visualize it a little bit better. I'm not sure if I want any windows here just for privacy reasons, because if there's actually a bedroom on the first floor, I don't think you'd want anyone to potentially peek in, even if I am putting up a half wall here. So I've added the Eco Lifestyle slatted woods under the ceiling. I think it kind of just brings this build back down to earth. It's less harsh with the concrete, brings a little bit of warmth and kind of mirrors this wood paneling accent that I've added to the front. Now I think I should add a trim just so we don't have that harsh line. I think that's the best one we're probably going to get. Do I want one at the top as well? I think I do. It's looking like a 70s high school block at the moment, so I will make it look a little bit better later on, but trust the process. So I've added a alcove at the back actually, just so we can have some big patio doors with floor-to-ceiling windows and have a little bit of under-roof balcony space. I've actually added a cutout here. I actually want to recess some windows. Also another opportunity to add this really beautiful wood paneling. Yep. I like that. I've just added some floor to ceiling windows around the back angle of the house. I think this is the perfect place to have a living room. So I've changed my mind from having the parenthood windows and I've gone for the eco lifestyle windows instead. I think it just flows better with the seamlessness of the windows above. So I will probably get rid of you now. Goodbye. And I think I will carry that on here for the bedroom. So like we said, we would keep this part private and add a couple of windows down here. Maybe I won't have a full double moment though. I think maybe something like this might work a little bit better. And I do want to put windows here, but I'm not quite sure what to add. That's looking like too many windows to me. So I came across Perry Sims MCM windows and I really like the squareness of them for this section. And in turn, that's made me change these windows to a more brown natural wood color. I think I might do that for anywhere that has an accent of the wood paneling. And I do kind of enjoy the difference that it gives. At the moment, it's looking like there's too many windows, especially here. So I may take a couple out. I think that's a better balance. So let's carry on the pathway around here. Again, just to ground the build in a little bit more. And also make this feel less of dead space. That works. I'll get rid of you because I don't need you anymore. Now I have a reference. So I've continued the windows around here and I want a really beautiful glass door. I'm probably going to have to look for CC for this, so I'll be right back. And indeed I did. I found Harry's Clean collection, and although there's obviously a lot more metallic edges to this door, I think it really works with the vibe that I wanted to go for. It's making me want to reconsider and adding the clean windows. Let's try that. So I actually really love the look of the clean windows from Harry, so I'm actually going to go in and change all these windows now. I think it'd be nice because this way we can have more of a seamless window that goes across the back part. So as you can see, there's been some slight tweaks, well, some major tweaks. I've actually been away for ages, replacing all the windows with Harry's Clean collection. I just wanted some consistency, and I found some really interesting shapes for the windows, especially for here. Like, look how nice this view would be if you're in the living room area. So I've done some floor to ceiling for this top portion of the living room, and I nested a couple of longer windows for what I plan to have as a living, kitchen, and another bedroom with a really small bathroom. Some floor to ceiling windows for the stairwell, and then this is the kind of main bedroom with a bathroom. Not sure what I'll do here yet. And then here I thought it'd be nice to have as a reading nook with lots of bookcases running down this wall. And I think I might potentially add more windows around here. Let's try that actually. So I've added some extra windows down this side of the hallway just to flood it with some natural light. And I love the lighting I did in The Sims 4. Just see what it looks like. I think it's really nice in the evening. I'm surprised with the morning light actually, that's so nice. Let's get back to some lights of a building. So I'm really happy with the kind of the balance here. I think I might just creep this over. I found a reference image that uses this kind of half wall as a secret front entrance to the property, and I really want to emulate that myself. It's such a shame that you can't build on the edge of the lot. This would have been perfect. Actually, the height itself is quite tall. That could potentially work. I think that's a sweet spot. So you might think I'm crazy for doing this, considering it's just taking me ages to build this facade. Let me just map out this lot with this wall. There we are. So I need to find a wallpaper that would work for this kind of outer wall. This could actually work. Is there a grey swatch? Where is this from? I discovered it's from the Country Kitchen pack. I think that really blends well with the kind of retro mid-century vibe that I'm going for. At the moment it's looking like a big grey box, but trust me, I will add some life to this once we add some greenery. Now let's add a half wall trim. I'm thinking stone and probably just in a grey, although that doesn't really match that well. I think The Sims, it's the best we can do. Oh, that's a little bit better actually, this kind of charcoaly grey colour. Nice. So we can just saddle it in a little bit. I was thinking maybe I could nestle in a beech tree here, just a little bit of greenery and interest. Yeah. Okay, so back to what I was initially planning, which was this kind of side shrubbery entrance. I'm not sure if I want to continue this on here, but let's just do this for now, and then we can always amend. Let's do this square and get the grid on. Let's just drag this along. We can be fairly kind of rough and then just neaten it up as we go along. I'm wondering if I just add in a bit more here. And then I'm probably going to pick out some lovely bits of landscaping off screen because the catalogue is massive, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've done a little bit of work off camera and I came across these really beautiful, what are they? Pine trees? They're from the Werewolves pack, and I was searching for a tree that wasn't going to enter the wall from the side, and I came across this skinny boy and I mirrored it actually at the front. I've picked out some lovely landscaping and I thought maybe we could do it together as a little bit of a work in progress. As you can see, there's a lot of greenery basically and a lot of ferns. I don't imagine there'll be much flowers in my dream home, so keep gardening to a minimum. I'm thinking of maybe adding some grass and potentially a few ferns. I'm not sure this 3-1 would fit in this area just due to the sidewalk, so maybe let's focus on using some of the grass instead. It's really just trying to keep it as natural as possible, and I don't really have a rhyme or reason doing landscaping. Just to keep things that look more realistic is my goal, and stray away from anything that's too bright a colour. Maybe let's size you down. And like a tip I learned along the way is not to have the exact same mirroring of plants as in succession. So maybe a slight angle here and there just to make it look again a bit more natural. Let's make this feel a little bit fuller. And I did want to add some rocks to this area. I might take live edit off, otherwise I'd be searching forever. I forgot that I downloaded Max 20's pack for rocks. This really comes in handy. Let's add some here. How did I choose that? Yeah, let's just nestle some of the ferns in a little bit more. Do a 2 there, lovely. And then let's add some more grass on this side, just to mirror in what we've done already. This grass is actually something I've not used before in a build, but I actually really like how naturalistic it looks. And considering it's a nice contrast to how structured the build is itself. Let's try and pull in another forest fern over here. This is going to stick, isn't it? I think that's fine. I don't wish I'd put a window here now, actually. Maybe I should try that just to make the most of this greenery. Okay, let's colour in where this tree has grown in naturally. And that's really settling in. I actually sized this tree down with the tool mod. Let's get rid of you because it's actually big in real life. Also, just give it a bit of difference because, you know, not all trees grow the same. Let's carry on this hedge around this way. This is from the estate pack, which is one of my favorite CC collections. And what I love about this hedge is the variety in swatches. Sims 4 swatches are usually in this kind of vibrant color, and although it does work for some builds, it's not my style. I don't know if I want hedges all the way around, but I'll do it anyway just to mirror the linearity of the build. And then I was thinking over here to have like a cluster of ferns. To be fair, I quite like the difference in some of their colors, just add a bit of texture. I'm wondering if I could use this painted fern over here actually. It just adds a slight subtle bit of color, which I think is kind of needed for a build like this. And it plays into those grey tones of the rock wall. We can tuck you in a little bit closer. Oh, this is bugging me. I think I might size you down with the tool mod. Let's do a 0.5. Yeah, and let's just pull in this grass a little bit over here. Size you down. Yeah, I like that. I might just add in another rock formation. See, when you play The Sims, you have this weird terminology that you use for no reason. So you see here, it's nice that you can have a visual of some outdoor foliage and just brings a bit of nature from the outside in. Now, I did really want to use this 3, but I could have probably used it here. Let's see if it blends in. It's a lot greener than the other one, so that's my only issue. And I think I need a shrub that's a little bit taller just to fill in this gap. Well, I guess we might use that bush actually. Maybe do another one just so it sinks in. And let's add some terrain. And it's all about terrain painting by eye. I actually think I might bring in the dirt a little bit closer here because it kind of makes sense with it being a pathway. Softness down a little bit more there. And then let's add it here. Nice, that feels a little bit more nestled into the build. Actually, I may add some grass. I just think it adds some variety to the kind of height I have with the landscaping at the moment. And get you a little bit further. And let's get some rocks as well. Gosh, those rocks from the, I think is it the Riviera kit? There's been so many packs at the moment that I've completely lost count of what anything is called. These rocks really work well actually, and they're big, which is great for filling up a lot of space on a lot as well. I've just added some ceiling tile to nestle in the build a little bit more. It was a bit too stark prior to that. And I think I might just carry that here as well before I forget. I did want to keep adding to this side entrance. I might add another one of you, but obviously size you down a little bit. You're massive. And carry on the grass as well, size you down. Nice, it's coming together slowly but surely. I said earlier, it's all about like trusting the process, especially if you're not exactly sure with the kind of landscaping that you want to do for a build like this. But I think as well, the less the better. Usually I try to pick a handful of plants that kind of semi-work together and then just work from there, especially in a colour palette a bit better. I think I might try and merge these rocks together, but flip this one around so it's not exactly the same. Just more of a statement rock, if you will. And then let's add another bit of grass here. Yeah, I'm liking how this looks actually. Thinking of adding some ivy in this section, even though it wouldn't really make much sense because it's so dark without much natural light, but it's looking quite blank at the moment. I guess we could trial it. Let's see what we can get from debug. This is quite big, but it potentially might work. Might have to send it down with the tool mod. I'll be right back. So thanks to the magic of tool mod, I did actually get it fit. I'm just checking to see if it comes into any walls. No, it's pretty good now. And maybe I'll just do like a planter or something here, so it's obviously not growing out of concrete, which wouldn't be very realistic, but I'm kind of happy with that. I'm wondering if we could bring it up here as well to add a bit of difference. It's massive, if you can see. Maybe I can just pretend that it's coming through the bottom. Let's add another little piece here. I might just size this one down just so it's not the same. Or, oh, yeah, that might work actually. Just adds a little bit of detail. And an otherwise very blank wall. Take you up a little bit higher. I actually didn't plan to have any kind of greenery on this build, but I think it does work actually. And I might carry that around potentially from the side or the back. Now, I was thinking I wasn't initially going to have a pool in here, but there is a space for a lap pool. I might just extend this patio out so there's a bit more entertaining space. I mean, this house is technically going to be in the UK, so we'd only really be able to use this in summer, but my dream house, it would be a heated lap pool. It doesn't need to be too big, but something maybe around this size. I might shorten it down a little bit actually, so it just kind of aligns with that wall, and then you get a really cool view from this kind of reading nook that I want to create downstairs part. Let's add some trim. I would really love some new trims, Sims team, although there is some great CC out there. I think it's very much overdue. And I've just added, I believe it's Felixander's Grove pool water, just so it looks a little bit more natural. Now I think I might extend the floor tile, at least around the pool. It wouldn't really make much sense having any more foliage or landscaping around here. And I might keep this slither of green for something interesting to look at through these windows, maybe a bit more ivy or kind of high climbers. And let's just carry on the terrain tool soft, and just so I know for reference, I'll add it in here as well. Nice. I was thinking maybe to recolor the columns that I chose to a black, just so they settle in, or maybe even a grey, because there's something about the white that's really throwing me off. Let's see. Yeah, I think that looks a touch better than that stark white contrast. So I just added a little bit more greenery actually to fill out this space now that we've added the pool. I think this line looks a little bit too harsh, so I might just take it out a little bit. So I'm just going to use this swatch to kind of nestle in this harsh line, make it a little bit softer. Yep, that worked a treat. I was thinking potentially of using the terrain manipulation tool to kind of make a little bit of difference to this section at least. Let's turn that speed right down and just ever so slightly. Now things may jump up, so I will use tool mod if needs be. Though I'm hoping not, because that might be a nightmare. They're slightly floating. Just to add a bit of dimension to this area, so it's not all one flat piece of land. Nice, I think that helped fill this area out a little bit more, and I've just slightly elevated, just slightly elevated the land, so there's a difference to the height. Happy with that. I was wondering maybe to extend this out a little bit further, and then we could potentially have some loungers here instead. So I've actually gone for a cypress tree from the debug catalogue. Although it's not exactly the same kind of species to what I've added to the build and also in the world, I do really like the lushness of it, and it really works wonders filling out this space. Maybe I'll just bring it over a little bit. And it kind of plays into the ferns in this area. I love all the textural differences in the landscaping that I've added. And it adds a little bit of privacy for a nosy neighbour if they're sticking their head around the corner and then see potentially me skinny dipping. I think what I might do is slightly amend the height of this second tree just so it's not copy paste. Let's use the tool mod. Let's do 0.45. Perfect. And then that way it looks a little bit more naturalistic. That's apparently my word of the day, naturalistic. Nice, it's coming together. I think I might potentially try a fence here. Let's get it in softer colour. This could work just to help frame the build a little bit more and separate it from all the landscaping that we have at the moment. Oh, I can't see what I'm doing. First time builder. I've just framed in all these borders. Oh, that glitch is still here. The Sims. Nice. And let's add some terrain bait here to just finish off this last little bit. So I've decided to add soil to this entire section rather than keeping any greenery, but I did want to add some dimension, so I'm just using this swatch to add some highlights here and there. It's always good to kind of play around and see what works in the moment. Yeah, that looks better. I think this kind of green works for certain builds, but it looks a lot brighter when you're putting it against a kind of grey concrete box, so it'd be nice to kind of make it look a little bit more realistic. And then just add back in some of the shadows as well. And then here I think I might make it a lot darker considering the trees shading the area. There are a lot of tappy taps from the mouse. Probably can't see the difference, but I know it's there, so that works for me. Let's finish off the side entrance foliage. I I keep saying foliage, I mean to say landscaping instead, but that's what you get when you're recording for the first time on YouTube. Just create a small like palette for yourself. That's my best advice for doing landscaping. And then just add it in here and there. So I'm thinking of adding this low-lying shrub. I might actually pepper this around the rest of the build. I've actually added these low-lying plants a little bit everywhere across the lot just to help nestle in some of the landscape. And I think it's made it look a lot more natural. And I've just added it down this walkway as well. I've added some ivy on this back wall, so just when you're looking out this floor-to-ceiling door and windows, you aren't just looking at a grey half wall. I found this ivy in the live edit part of the catalogue, which is a real shame that they don't add it in the main game because some people might miss it. So I've just also added some rocks from the Snowyscape pack. I really love this swatch with the moss on it. And then I might add a little bit more low-lying just in these small parts and then add some ferns, which is maybe I might have to do it in a slightly smaller size just so they don't creep through too badly at the back. And where is my favourite? They are the painted fence. Turn you around a little bit so it's not all the same direction and get some leaning nut grass. It's all about just playing it by eye. I'm definitely not an expert in landscaping, but I think the more times you do it, the more comfortable you feel. I'm finding the right balance with how things look. It doesn't always have to mirror real life, but that's what I try to do in my game. I actually really like adding that flower to this section. It just kind of brings the area to life a little bit more. I think I'm getting rid of the thistle because that's a little bit too stark. Let's just add one more, and I'm actually going to pepper it all the way down this walkway around here as well, and I'll be right back. So there we have it. I've added some of these white flowers just around the most lush parts of the landscaping. I think it just really helps adding a little bit of a pop of colour even though they're white. And just breaking up all the greenery. I think to end this part we'll add some outdoor furniture to create kind of a conversation pin. Let me just pick out some lovely things. So I found some really gorgeous pieces from Felix Undra's Kyoto set, and I thought this colour nestled in the foliage really nicely. I think that's fine. And then 2 armchairs. I was thinking there's some extra seating, and I thought a drink tray that I've sized down. And I've done everything in a kind of dark wood to kind of reflect the materials that we've used for the build. This is not from the same set. It's the Stefan set, I believe, from Gary Sim. I've just added a plant on the top. Oh, let's shift everything over actually. And then I found this really beautifully minimal pendant light from the Hearts collaboration. So just to add some warmth to the lighting when it goes into the evening. That right there looks beautiful as well. But this is just the bare basics for the outdoor furniture. I was thinking of potentially adding a barbecue, but there's no real kind of natural space to put it unless I put a half wall over here, but that's something I can visit in the next part. I will be adding some sun lounges and some lights around the property away from camera. In the next part, we'll probably start on the interior. So I'm thinking of doing this hallway and then the reading nook, and then moving on to the bedroom and the bathroom, and then figuring out how I'm going to use for this space. So I thought I'd leave it on this shot before we get to the outro section. What is that? There we go, much better. But yeah, I am kind of chuffed with the progress that we've made in this part. Please ignore the absolute chaos that's going on with the back. Oh god, please no judgment. I'll leave this on this back garden and I'll see you shortly. So thanks so much for watching the first part of this video. I think it went okay, all things considered. It was a little bit chaotic in parts, but I'm kind of proud of myself of juggling everything at the same time. There will be another part coming up, but I'm not going to stick to a proper upload schedule yet while I find my feet. But if you did like the video, please give it a like and subscribe. And to repeat what I said at the start, you can find me at Blue Sky under Curio Sims, and that's also the name of my gallery ID. So once we finish this build, I'll upload it there. I'll leave all the CC that I use in the description box. So if you have any questions, please send them my way or add a lovely comment. I'll see you in the next part. Thanks so much for watching.